Hey guys, we're going to do chest tonight, and I want to show you a variation on an exercise with bands that's really going to blow you away. Let's go in. Hey guys, so how did you like that chest variation? I used the bands and I did the reverse grip bench to start. And I actually had to start lighter. So I started with 10s with the bands. Then I went up to 20 and then I went up to 25 and I actually did a pyramid set. What a pyramid set is when you go up, increase the weight to a certain point where you can't get the number of reps that you want to get, tonight being 10, and then I drop back down. So I did 10, 20, 25, and then I could only get 6 of the 25, so then I did 20 and 10. And you do have to go lighter with the bands. The bands add quite a bit of resistance, and actually that's what you want, because what it does is it creates resistance on the concentric, which is a contraction movement, and the eccentric, which is the stretch part of the movement. And there are benefits to doing this because you're addressing tension on the muscle for both the concentric and the eccentric movement, as opposed to just the concentric movement taking all the weight. Even though you could do a negative on the eccentric, it gives it a little bit different approach to muscle development. And so that's pretty much the benefit of doing that. Obviously, I can go heavier when I don't use the bands, but the point is to address the muscle fibers differently. And then what I did tonight, instead of doing triceps at the end, is I alternated a chest movement with the triceps. So then I went on to do the overhead dumbbell extension. I started with, I started with 40, went up to 60. And I sat in this chair here to do that. You can do them sitting or standing. I do it both. It just depends on how I feel. And then I went on to do the skull crushers. And if you remember what the skull crushers are, it's the dumbbell over the head. You want to extend back as far as you can. Keeping in mind that you can tear a pec muscle doing this exercise. And then you want to come up just to where you start to lose resistance. You don't want to fall all the way through, because then you completely lose tension on the muscle, which you don't want to do. You want to maintain tension on the muscle. So you just come up far enough to where you feel the tension starting to lighten, and then you go back down. And you want to get a good stretch, but again, you don't want to go so far back that you're going to strain that pec muscle. And then I went on to do the kickbacks. I did it in this on this chair. I just leaned on it and I started with 15s. I increased by 5 and I went up to 35 on that one. And then after that, I went on to do the cable flies. And I actually started with 20, which is kind of light, but that's okay, because I just took it really slow, maintained tension on the muscle, and really slow eccentric movements. I actually went up to 45 tonight for 12 reps each. So that's 20, 25, 30, 30, 44. So I did, what, 6 sets of that. And yeah, so that's a wrap. Anyway, I thought you'd like that variation. I like using bands. You gotta be really careful when you use bands, because your center of gravity and the controlling the weight is completely different than the weight being free to move, because that band can snap back on you and you could get injured. So you want to be really careful when you use bands with the weights. If you're doing bands without weights, that's a different story. You could still get injured. Obviously, you can get injured with any activity that you do, but you just want to be knowledgeable and careful and smart about it. So anyway, in terms of developing the pec muscle, there are different angles of the striations on the pec. Like, for example, if I was to do the decline bench with the dumbbells or the bar, obviously I'd be working the lower part of the pec muscle, because you're at an angle where gravity is pushing you upward. You're pushing upward against gravity, and then you're coming back down, right? So you're hitting the lower part of the pec. With a flat bench type movement, actually hitting the pec at kind of a neutral position. So you're addressing most all the fibers with this. Of course, when you do the reverse grip, you're getting more of a lower pec development, because there's more tension on the lower part of the pec muscle. And then obviously when you do the skull crushers, you are also working, you're working the whole pec, but you're really targeting the lower pec as well, because when you come up and you create tension at the top of the movement, that's when the lower pec comes into play. When using the cable, as in the case today, we put the handles up higher, so when you come down, you're addressing the lower part of the pec. Now, if we had the cable down lower, then we would be coming up, right? And we'd be hitting the upper part of the pec. So, and you could also do a neutral movement where you put the cable kind of at perpendicular and then just coming in and you're just addressing the whole pec. The other day when I did the incline bench with the Roman press, which is the one where you press the plate in between your hands and you go up, you are actually addressing the inner part of the pec. And so there's different exercises to address different parts of the pec muscle to get overall development. So you want to develop the upper pec, lower pec, mid pec, and just overall. And so, especially with women, the upper pec is really important, especially when you're competing and you're on stage. That is what tends to be more visible and shows in your physique more. So really working on the upper pec for aesthetics is important for women, but you want to address the entire pec muscle regardless, because you want overall development, right? And in terms of the triceps, I didn't do any cable moves tonight. I do like doing cable moves because, you know, it creates resistance with the eccentric and the concentric movement. And I do like doing cables. I do cables a lot, but tonight I just did dumbbells, and, you know, it's good to vary it and change it up. But anyway, so that is our chest workout for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'm Victoria Munoz. See you next time.